For a rapidly evolving IT landscape, the stakes have never been higher. Businesses rely on vast amounts of data to operate seamlessly, and in the event of an unexpected disruption, be it a power outage, cyber attack, platform transition, or even a natural disaster, the ability to recover swiftly and efficiently is paramount. Businesses need a robust solution that addresses the complexities of orchestrating disaster recovery across diverse infrastructures. Veeam Recovery Orchestrator, part of the Veeam Data Platform, enables organizations to automate and streamline their recovery processes, significantly reducing downtime as well as minimizing the potential impact of disruption on operations. With Veeam Recovery Orchestrator, businesses can define, organize, and execute recovery plans with precision, ensuring that critical workloads are restored quickly and effectively. Let's look at the latest capabilities available in Veeam Recovery Orchestrator, including new support for Hyper-V. Okay, so here we are in Veeam Recovery Orchestrator. Now there's a few new things that we want to call out with the 7.2 release. Number one, probably one of the most highly anticipated and asked for feature request was the support for Microsoft Hyper-V. So here inside of Veeam Recovery Orchestrator, we have the opportunity to now add in our Hyper-V environment. So we'll connect via vee.am. That way we can see all the hosts that are associated to this Hyper-V environment, and then be able to select our backups that were processed from those Hyper-V virtual machines, and then be able to create some recovery plans to restore those Hyper-V virtual machines to another Hyper-V host. In Veeam Backup and Replication, you can see here I've already added in my vee.am server, and then I also have some backup jobs that have already been pre-configured for both VMware as well as Hyper-V. So I have some backups that are currently running for these virtual machines. So once we let Orchestrator know that that's going to be the new source of a data set that we're looking to protect, we could also come down into recovery locations and start building out our recovery location. So if we click to add, you'll have these options to go ahead and choose your recovery location, starting with first Microsoft Hyper-V. And then of course you have some additional options down here if we're going to be restoring into Microsoft Azure, if we're going to be recovering into a vSphere environment, as well as leveraging our storage-based replication to create some storage plans as well. I'm going to select Microsoft Hyper-V, hit next. This one is just a quick test. I've already added in my environment, so I just want to show you all how we can actually walk through this. For your recovery options, you could just go ahead and enable instant VM recovery, as well as using the restore points from any backup copies if those are available. And then there's some additional options in here to enforce some data sovereignty rules. I'm going to leave these ones unchecked. But here you can see we go ahead and we choose the vee.am server that was previously added. And then we can add the cluster in which we want to leverage as our new restore or our recovery location. Next, we'll be able to select the CSV volume that we want to leverage for these virtual machines to reside on. And then we'll also have the opportunity here to add in some additional network mapping rules. So again, if we're going to be mapping from a source Hyper-V network to additional target, we can plug that in here. If we are going to be recovering from a VMware environment, which I'll get to a little bit later, we can map those target locations of vice versa. So in this option, I'm going to go ahead and select that we're going to be mapping from this cluster, and we're going to be leveraging this network, and then our new network that we're going to be writing to is going to be our dev environment. And then we'll go ahead and hit save, select that rule, hit next, and then we'll have the opportunity here to actually add that in. As you can see, I already added in my Hyper-V cluster. You can see instant VM recovery was already enabled. And then we can also additionally support not just taking our Hyper-V backups and recovering them to a Hyper-V location, but also taking vSphere backups and restoring them as Hyper-V virtual machines. But we'll get to that a little bit later. All right, so now I could just go ahead and exit out of this tab, and I can go into my recovery plans, and I can actually create a new recovery plan for being able to restore these Hyper-V virtual machines. So I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new one. We'll name this one test. Next, I'm going to go ahead and select to create a restore plan because we would like to restore our virtual machine backups to the other Microsoft Hyper-V environments. When it comes to available groups, we can go ahead and select what type of backups we want to recover from. Again, we want to take these Hyper-V backups and then go ahead and recover those to a Hyper-V environment. Next, we could go ahead and select, do we want to recover these to the original location or select to a new location or to a new cluster? You'll have the same standard options to either halt the plan if a virtual machine encounters an error upon recovery, as well as being able to process those virtual machines within parallel or sequence. Very important, especially if you are trying to build a recovery plan for like a certain application. And there are certain virtual machines that are associated to that application group. Maybe they need to be processed in a certain sequence, so that way services and the uptime and for them to be able to come online needs to be available in order for other applications to be able to ping them. So that would be the reasoning there to be able to select those. Here you'll be able to select your steps. So we're going to just automatically be able to restore the virtual machine. And then I also want to ping and make sure it has a heartbeat once it goes through its recovery process. We can also choose to send an email once this has been completed. So that way we can let any of the application owners know that their machines have been recovered. RTO and RPO, very specific, right? This is where you can set your recovery time objective for how long it's going to take to perform the restore, as well as your RPO for recovery point objective for how much data can essentially be lost or be okay to lose in the event that we're performing this recovery. So this is all going to be mapped to your business. And then the nice thing about Veeam Recovery Orchestrator is during a readiness check, it's going to validate that these SLAs are actually defined and that you're going to be able to meet them, especially when it comes to RPO. Because let's say, for example, you're not doing your backups on a day-to-day basis. Maybe you're only doing them once a week, but you have a defined RPO of 24 hours. This will actually fail automatically and show you that you have to bump up those policies in order to attain it and vice versa. So a good way here to actually validate the SLAs you have put in place. Automatic report documentation that'll get generated as you can see here, and then we can schedule that report to come out for any changes that happen as part of this new restore plan we created. We'll go ahead and hit next and hit finish. We'll see that new test plan get created here. And once it gets created, it'll automatically do that readiness check. And we have that nice verified pass mark, essentially just showing that the RTO and RPO that I defined for this job is actually a variable and is working. So next we could go ahead and we can launch this. So I'm going to go ahead and enable this plan. Hit next. We'll go ahead and plug in my credentials. Go ahead and select the recovery location again. We're recovering to my secondary site. And then we're going to leverage the latest restore point. Now, the additional piece that's in here that's really a neat feature is that fact that Veeam could actually validate if there's anything that was suspicious or an anomaly that was detected on one of the backups, specifically within Veeam backup and replication. You know, we have all the great security scanning capabilities for, you know, IOCs or indicators of compromise, as well as any potentially malicious symptoms of malware. That could all be verified, so that way if you know a backup has popped up and it does have any of those symptoms on there, we can make sure that we're not leveraging that backup to perform this restore. So here essentially Orchestrator is just going to check to verify that, hey, if any of those backups have already flagged for malware, skip those from processing, right? Don't recover those machines. Maybe we want it to just go ahead and cancel the restore of the VM, and we want to go back to finding a restore point that's available for us to recover from that's clean, or recover the virtual machine, but don't automatically connect it from to the network. So we're going to go ahead and proceed from here and hit finish. And as you can see, once I go ahead and click into this job, we could see those machines. They're starting to run. We can see that the machines are starting to perform the recovery process. I could scroll down in here And next, what we'll see from the restore recovery is it'll go through the process of actually checking and verifying that it has a heartbeat. And then we'll have some finalized steps in here to actually make that virtual machine permanent in its new location. And now also, if we were to click back into Veeam Backup Replication, you can also see, right, it is leveraging instant Veeam recovery. We enabled that by default when we went to go and actually create this recovery location. So that's where you can kind of see the commands that are being sent to Veeam Backup and Replication from Orchestrator. From a documentation standpoint, this is where Orchestrator really starts to shine. So we have a whole bunch of sets of custom reports in here. Essentially, if we want to just go ahead and take a look at that plan definition, this plan definition is going to show me what did we create from a test perspective, right? So defining what our recovery process looks like. Essentially comes with a cover page. I mean, this is all pre-built for you. And then essentially this is just making sure that it's being kept up to date. So anytime you go in and you make changes, you add virtual machines to this policy, you remove virtual machines from this policy, you change anything from a definition or from a planned steps perspective, that'll all get updated in here. So you always have documentation that's pretty rich and will stay up to date. Veeam Recovery Orchestrator is a strategic asset in safeguarding your organization's future. By investing in a robust recovery orchestration strategy, businesses position themselves to weather the storms of uncertainty with confidence. To learn more about Veeam Recovery Orchestrator and the Veeam Data Platform, follow the link below.